We live in a world where worry often feels like a constant companion. It's almost as if our minds are tuned to a station that plays a constant loop of the worst-case scenarios from our past and future. We find ourselves caught up in this loop, spending days, months, or even years entangled in the web of our own anxieties. Yet here's an interesting thought. 90% of what we worry about never actually comes to pass. Despite this, we allow our fears to steal precious moments from our lives. But what if we could change the station, tune out the noise, and focus on the present? Today, we're diving deep into the world of Stoicism, an ancient philosophy that offers a robust toolkit for detangling ourselves from these webs and reclaiming the joy of living in the present. The Stoics, including Marcus Aurelius and Seneca, were not just philosophers lost in thought. They were practical thinkers, navigating lives full of responsibilities and challenges, much like us today. They understood that while we can't control every circumstance, we can control our responses to them, and in those responses lie our true power and peace. This video isn't just about ancient texts, it's about transforming their wisdom into actionable strategies that can lead to a more serene and focused life. If you're ready to stop the endless cycle of what-ifs and start living with intention and tranquility, stay tuned as we explore how to apply Stoic principles to modern-day worries and turn the ordinary into the extraordinary. The power of presence. 1. Of the fundamental teachings of Stoicism is the power of living in the present. The Stoics believed that the past is out of our control, the future is uncertain, and only the present is real and manageable. Think about it. How often do we find ourselves trapped in a cycle of regret about the past or anxiety about the future? It's like we're either replaying old movies that can't be changed or trying to predict the next season of a show that hasn't even been written. Here's a powerful Stoic practice for you. Imagine dividing your day into tiny compartments, or moments where each one is lived as fully as possible. It's about saying, right now, this is where I am, and it's all I need to focus on. This isn't just about mindfulness or meditation. It's about making a conscious decision to not let your thoughts drift into territories where they have no practical use. Think about how freeing that is. When you're truly present, you're not just waiting for the next big thing or mourning a lost opportunity. You're actively engaging with life as it happens. This doesn't mean you don't plan for the future, but you plan as part of the present moment's actions, not as a worry-fueled marathon. So how can we practice this? Start by really tuning into whatever you're doing. If you're eating, savor each bite. If you're walking, feel each step. Notice your surroundings, the sounds, the air. It sounds simple, but it's incredibly powerful. This act of being present calms the mind and reduces the noise of worry, because worry struggles to live in a mind fully engaged with the now. Understanding and managing worry. The Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius once noted that we could rid ourselves of many illusions if we fully embrace the present. We often let our thoughts run away with assumptions, fears, and what-ifs, but when we anchor ourselves in the now, those illusions start to lose their power, and so does worry. Let's break down a practical 3-step guide to managing worry, drawing inspiration from both modern psychology and timeless Stoic wisdom. This isn't just about suppressing your feelings, but about dealing with them in a constructive and rational way. The first step is all about clarity. You need to pinpoint exactly what's on your mind. Is it a project at work? A personal relationship? Financial worries? Sometimes just the act of naming your worry can diminish its power over you. The Stoics would encourage us to describe our fears as precisely as possible because, in the words of Seneca, we suffer more in imagination than in reality. So by defining what worries you, you're already beginning to take its power away. The second step might sound a bit pessimistic at first, but it's actually about empowerment. Ask yourself, What's the worst that could happen? Really explore that scenario. This is a technique Stoicism teaches called premeditatio malorum, or the premeditation of evils. The idea is that by visualizing the worst-case scenario, you're preparing yourself mentally for any outcome, which reduces anxiety about the unknown. More often than not, you'll realize that even the worst outcome is something you can handle. This doesn't just reduce worry, it boosts your confidence. Now that you've considered the worst, it's time to think about how you can improve that outcome. This is where creative thinking comes in. Can you take steps now to prevent that worst-case scenario from happening? Or if it does happen, how can you handle it in a way that minimizes its impact? This step is about moving from passive to active. Instead of being a victim of circumstances, you're becoming the architect of your solutions. The Stoics believed strongly in focusing on what we can control and letting go of what we can't. This step embodies that philosophy by encouraging proactive engagement with life's challenges, transforming worry into action. By following these 3 steps, you tackle worry head-on instead of letting it control you. You identify the problem, face it with the courage to acknowledge the worst aspect of it, and then use your reason and creativity to mitigate it. This approach doesn't just wave worries away, it transforms them into a plan of action, a strategy that the Stoics would approve of because it emphasizes rational thinking and personal agency. Remember, the goal here isn't to never feel worried. That's impossible. The goal is to manage worries so effectively that they no longer hold you back from living your best life. By applying these 3 steps, you turn worries from daunting shadows into manageable challenges that you're equipped to overcome. Worries are often vague, shadowy figures in the back of our minds, causing stress without us even fully understanding why. To diminish their power, we need to bring them into the light and take a good, hard look. The Stoics had a great approach to this. They encouraged rigorous self-examination and reflection. Marcus Aurelius, for instance, often wrote about confronting his thoughts directly to understand their nature and origins. This method isn't just about knowing what you're worried about, but understanding why it worries you. Is it because it threatens something you value? Is it because it strikes at a vulnerability or a past trauma? Here's how you can start this process. Begin by writing down your worries. Just the act of writing can help clarify thoughts that were murky when just floating around in your head. Once you have them on paper, it's easier to be objective about them. Next, ask yourself some probing questions. Why does this worry me? What is the worst that could happen? And how likely is that to occur? What might be the root cause of this? Fear. Often you'll find that the root of a worry isn't what you first thought. It might be something deeper or more fundamental. This step is about peeling back the layers of your anxiety to reveal its core. Then consider the influence of these worries. Are they affecting your behavior? Are they holding you back from opportunities or happiness? This understanding can be incredibly powerful because it shifts your perspective. It moves you from feeling worried to understanding why you feel that way, which is the first step in gaining control over the emotion. Engaging in meaningful activity. The final step in the Stoic approach is about rationalization and response. Once you understand your worry, you can more easily find logical, practical ways to address it. This might mean changing something in your life, rethinking a belief, or maybe just accepting that some aspects of the situation are out of your control. By analyzing your worries like this, you're not just reducing their immediate impact, you're also training your mind to handle future worries more effectively. It's like mental conditioning. Over time, you become better at recognizing the triggers and patterns of your anxiety, and each analysis becomes faster and more efficient. This isn't about mindlessly filling every second of your day to avoid your thoughts, but rather engaging in meaningful activities that command your full attention and thus naturally push out excessive worrying. The Stoics were big on the idea of using your time wisely. They saw time as a precious resource that shouldn't be wasted on unnecessary concerns. Seneca, one of the most famous Stoic philosophers, wrote extensively about the importance of being selective with our activities to ensure they are meaningful and not just ways to pass time. When you engage in tasks that are fulfilling and align with your values, you leave little room for worries to take root. So how does staying busy help with worry? Well, when you're focused on a task, whether it's work, a hobby, or even a good conversation, your mind engages in what psychologists call flow. It's that state where you're so absorbed in what you're doing that you lose track of time. In this state, there's no mental bandwidth left to fret about the past or future. You're fully immersed in the present. This can look like diving into work that challenges and interests you, picking up hobbies that require your full attention, physical activity, which is not only good for your body, but also for your mind, and social interactions that are rich and engaging, spending time with friends or family, particularly in activities that keep you all engaged, can also serve as a strong distraction from worry. Remember, the Stoic ideal isn't about being busy for the sake of being busy. It's about choosing activities that are meaningful, that contribute to your growth, or that help others. These activities provide a dual benefit. They keep your mind occupied in a productive way, and they also give you a sense of accomplishment and purpose, which is another powerful antidote to worry, handling criticism and external judgments. Let's talk about something that is a universal trigger for worry: criticism. No matter who you are, at some point in life you'll face criticism. It's part of the human experience. However, criticism can either be a tool for growth or a source of discomfort, depending on how you handle it. The Stoics had a rather unique way of viewing criticism, one that turned it into an opportunity for personal development rather than a negative judgment. When criticized, the first Stoic response is to consider the source. Is the criticism coming from someone you respect and trust, or is it from someone who doesn't know the full context of your situation? Understanding where the criticism comes from can help you evaluate its validity. Next, look for the truth in it. Even if the delivery was harsh or the intent was not positive, is there a kernel of truth that you can learn from? The Stoics believed in taking responsibility for self-improvement, and part of that involves accepting feedback, even if it's uncomfortable. Instead of letting criticism trigger anxiety or self-doubt, try to see it as a mirror reflecting back, an area where you could grow. This isn't about blindly accepting every critique thrown your way, but about discerning valuable feedback that can help you improve. This approach helps you develop a thicker skin and a clearer vision of your goals. It transforms feedback into a stepping stone rather than a stumbling block, maintaining balance in a busy life. Let's face it, life can be exhausting. The constant stress of daily responsibilities, from work to personal commitments, can leave you feeling drained and anxious. The Stoics understood the importance of balance between action and reflection. They advocated for a lifestyle that nurtures both the mind and spirit, recognizing that a balanced life is essential for maintaining peace of mind and reducing worry. To maintain this balance, the Stoics recommended a few key practices. First, prioritize what's truly important in your life. This means setting boundaries and learning to say no to things that don't serve your overall well-being. When you simplify your life by focusing on what really matters, you reduce the noise and distractions that fuel anxiety. Another important practice is mindfulness. This isn't necessarily about meditation, though that can help. It's about being fully present in whatever you're doing. It's about not letting your mind wander to other tasks or worries, but staying engaged with the current moment. This not only makes you more effective in what you do, but also helps you find calm amidst the chaos. Finally, don't underestimate the power of rest. The Stoics, while valuing hard work, also recognized the necessity of downtime. They saw rest as an essential part of life, time for the body and mind to repair and rejuvenate. Without it, we become less effective and more prone to stress and anxiety. By ensuring that you're getting enough sleep and taking breaks when needed, you're setting yourself up for a more balanced and productive life, with less room for worry to creep in. Financial and work-related worries. Let's touch on another common source of anxiety: finances and work. Whether it's worrying about paying bills, job security, or striving for career success, financial and work-related concerns are a significant source of stress for many people. The Stoics offer a way to navigate these worries with grace and practicality. First, they would encourage you to focus on your actions rather than the outcomes. When it comes to work, this means putting in your best effort and letting go of the need to control every result. By focusing on what you can do, like doing your job well, improving your skills, and being a positive influence in your workplace, you not only become more effective, but also reduce the anxiety associated with outcomes you can't control, such as layoffs or market fluctuations. When it comes to financial worries, the Stoics would advise you to live within your means and save for the future. Creating a budget, for example, is a way to take control of your finances and reduce anxiety. It gives you a clear picture of your income, expenses, and savings, allowing you to make informed decisions about spending and saving. Building an emergency fund is another Stoic-inspired strategy. By setting aside money for unexpected expenses, you create a buffer that can reduce financial anxiety. Knowing you have a safety net gives you peace of mind and reduces the stress associated with financial uncertainties. Finally, the Stoics would suggest redefining your definition of success. Instead of measuring success by external markers like wealth or job titles, consider what truly brings you contentment. This might be work-life balance, the quality of your relationships, or the impact you have on others. By shifting your focus to what genuinely matters, you can reduce the pressure to achieve externally defined goals, which often fuel worry and stress. Conclusion: embracing the Stoic way of life. As we wrap up, it's important to remember that the Stoic approach to managing worry isn't about eliminating it completely. That's impossible. Instead, it's about developing a mindset and habits that help you manage and reduce worry so it doesn't control your life. By focusing on the present, understanding and addressing your worries, engaging in meaningful activities, handling criticism constructively, maintaining balance, and managing work and financial concerns with a Stoic perspective, you can create a life where worry takes a backseat to action, purpose, and peace. Thank you for joining me on this journey through Stoic wisdom. Remember, the power to change your life lies not in the events that happen to you, but in how you react to them. Embrace each day with courage, focus on what truly matters, and let your actions reflect the values you hold dear. Stoicism offers a path to a more serene and focused life. And with these principles, you can navigate the challenges of modern life with grace, resilience, and a sense of purpose.